Massachusetts Supreme Court just came down with this case that requires the police to get your consent if they want to test your blood in a drunk driving case. Stay tuned to learn more about this case, whether it applies to your situation, and how it may help you beat your next drunk driving case.
911 recorded line. What is the address of the emergency?
I couldn't receive the transfer.
Welcome back to Greater Boston Legal Advice. I'm Mike Contant. I've been a practicing criminal defense lawyer for the past 24 years. Today I'm excited to talk to you about this new case just handed down by the Massachusetts Supreme Court a couple weeks ago, and I think it's going to be a game changer for a lot of drunk driving cases. Now, this case doesn't apply to everyone's situation. It's actually only going to apply if you were involved in an accident that they suspected you were drunk driving and you were taken to the hospital. And then at the hospital, as part of normal medical treatment, they took your blood. Because what's been happening in those types of cases is the police will get a search warrant, give it to the hospital, they'll actually get the vials of blood that the hospital took from you, and they're going to take that back to their own lab, and they're going to perform a blood test on it. They're going to try and determine what your blood alcohol content was, so how much alcohol was in your bloodstream, because that's how they're going to prosecute you for drunk driving. Now, this particular case, Commonwealth versus Moreau, says they can't do that anymore. Even with a search warrant, they would still need your consent to take that blood from the hospital and bring it to their lab to have it tested. This has to do with the specific language in the drunk driving statute. So it's not going to apply to other cases. So let's just, for instance, under the same circumstances, some kind of a murder case or other type of violent crime, and they were trying to get your blood to test it for DNA or something like that. It's not going to apply to that situation. It is specifically limited to drunk driving cases. Now, the other thing is to keep in mind is it's only going to apply where the police actually give a search warrant to the hospital, get the vial of blood, and bring it to their state police lab. It's not going to apply in a situation where the hospital might, again, take your blood as part of the normal medical procedure, and then if they do their own test on it. So this is something we're going to have to wait and see how this is going to play out, because oftentimes, instead of the police actually testing it themselves, they'll just rely on the hospital blood test to try and determine what the blood alcohol content was. And there's a procedure for them to use that at trial against you. But many times, like I said, the police are just using their own state lab test. They get the blood, they have it tested at their lab, then they have their experts come into court and tell what that blood alcohol content was. So this can be a game changer in those cases, which it does happen quite frequently, because oftentimes after an accident, the person is injured, so they can't be put through field sobriety tests. They certainly can't be arrested until they get medical treatment, things like that. So it's really important that to the police to be able to get and preserve your blood to be able to test it. This case makes it so they can't do that anymore. Now, the other thing this case is going to bring up is you might now more and more see police going to the hospital after the accident to try to get you to sign a piece of paper, giving them consent to get that blood and to have it tested. Our advice in the situation would be, as always, do not consent to any type of search, do not consent to any type of blood test, do not consent to them testing your blood, and don't consent to a breathalyzer test. If you do those things, you're going to limit the evidence the police are going to have against you in this drunk driving case, and it's going to really help your defense in this case. So if you have any questions about this, please feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email, or just leave a comment below the video. We'll be happy to speak with you about it.